push its propaganda. But they said, can we have a talk with you, Iron? He said, okay, what do you want to talk about? He said, we discovered that we are 99.9% identical, that our differences are superficial. It's just what you see. Other than that, we are the same. So I said, well, I'm really not in charge, but I'll kick it up to the leaders and let them talk it out. The leader was arguing about it. Rocks escaped, moved to the land of wood, set up their own schools, and guess what? Began to teach themselves how to rust. So the moral of the story is, if you're an oppressed people, you need to be very careful about what you teach yourself. You just might be teaching yourself what your oppressor wants you to learn. There's another installation out there. This was called Iron Teaching Rocks Table Manners. Now, if iron is teaching rocks table manner, it means that it's already taught rocks its language. Now, once you have been disconnected from your language, you hit. Your language is far more important than just communicating. There are all kinds of other subtle things in your language. It can make you feel proud, and without your language, it can make you feel inferior. And there's all kinds of other codes in one's language. Now, if iron is teaching rocks table manners, it's also teaching rocks what art is. So it's teaching rocks about fine art. It's teaching rocks about ballet. It's teaching rocks about sculpture, dance. So in that one little piece of someone teaching you table manners, they are really consuming all of you. And once you learn table manners, who you are begins to rust, because iron is a state of deterioration. Rust is. So that's what's happening there. There's a fence that runs 150 feet around the perimeter of the exhibit. That one is called the Middle Passage. The Middle Passage was the distance from Rock's land to where Rocks ended up. And Rocks, three things could occur with Rocks on that voyage. If Rock tried to jump off the ship, suicide. If the captain didn't like him, you toss him off the ship. If you took sick or died, you were tossed off the ship. But the Sharks instinctively knew to follow that ship heading to the east coast of Woodland. Another one, the back wall is a 150-foot wall. There are 28 scripted African languages on that wall that were written prior to the 1500s. Now, why the 1500s is important is because that's when the Europeans said that when he ran into these African people, they were uncivilized, barbaric, savages, and they couldn't carry on a cognizant thought. And that's why the 28 languages are back there. There are much more than that, but I only had a wall that would accommodate 28 scripted African languages.
Okay.
Now, this space is out in the open. So I couldn't afford security. I couldn't afford a camera system. So I went back to a system that African people have used for thousands of years, and that is the inherent power of materials. The materials that I'm using to create my power force is iron, rocks, wood, and mirror. And a coincidence, that's what the story is based on, those materials. There's a big head man sitting out there saying Kissy from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, the Kissy, you empower the Kissy by using herbs. You can take anything that's eaten by any animal, and everything on this planet that lives is an animal. So that was not hard to find some herbs. I put it in the abdomen. I cut a hole in this abdomen, and I put a mirror over the top of it. That's the medicine. And I placed the iron pieces on it. Now it's ready to be charged to do what I wanted to do. I asked Kissy to do three things. That the graffiti artists wouldn't tag this place, because in 2000, the graffiti artist was they were having a field day in the city of Detroit. And the vandals, they were also having a field day. So those are the only two people that I was concerned about. And also the inspectors. And I asked that they would not see this place. Now, this is my 19th year. It's out there. So to me, the magic worked. An onlooker, it may not work for them, but it kept the vandals away. The city came here once, was sitting out there having lunch. I thought they was out there writing me tickets but they got in the truck and left. Now, if one person from the community had complained, then the inspector would have came here and he probably got to raise all the fines he was giving me. Because the place is in complete violation of all city code. But
that's why it's so fabulous.
What worked to my advantage from 2000 to late, let's say 2012, the city was struggling for its own life. And I'm over here building these installations thinking I'm operating incognito. But I would discover later on that they were watching, but not for the reason that I thought. They was watching, here's a guy over here, look how he's working. We're trying to figure out how we're going to save the city. So one day a group of collectors came in from Cambridge. And they came here and they left. But the lady who coordinated this event, she called and asked if they were there. I said, no, they're gone. I said, but thank you for having us as a part of this tour. She said, Dalbert, you have no idea. Wherever the city goes, you are a part of it because we sit there watching you acting like there was not a care in the world, doing your installation, and now we hear about your installation in other countries.
Wow.
We can't even figure out how that could possibly happen. But I know because that camera and that phone was put together and people came here taking pictures. But I left it as magic. You know,
It is magic.
Right?
Yeah. That's right.
And since then, we've had millionaires, billionaires, street people, winos, all come here and talk about how they've enjoyed this place. And my greatest reward is strangers, small people that just come by and say, I like it. With pride, I'm supposed to accept that you like it. And so it's humbling when people can tell you that they like something and it's supposed to have an effect. So I remember Tommy Hearns once said to a guy, the guy said, I like something. Tommy Hearns said, as though you have something to do with what I'm doing. You know, Tommy Hearns is arrogant. So it has been a pleasure working for the people, and all my rewards have been answered. Let's see.